Good evening. Good evening, students. Welcome to day 2 of chapter 2 on accounting system. So, the e-chocolate has to go to Kiran. So, good evening, Kiran. Good evening, Shivangani. Good evening, Pramod, Diksha, Manisha, Harshit. Darshan says, sir, e-chocolate is tasty. Thanks, Darshan. Then Rajiv Kumar Singh. Then Manisha, Harshita. Okay, Ritika. Data warehouse and data warehousing. Okay, so let us take the question what Darshan has asked. Darshan, see, it's basically, see, data warehouse is collection of data at, I think it's part of the syllabus. It is going to come, but let me tell right now here itself. So data warehouse is what you may say call as a repository of data. Huge bulk data at a single location is data warehouse. Now, because the data has been brought at a single location, so there has to be some interlinking factors. So I'm just sharing with an example. Say, for example, you are a FMCG company, you are selling consumer products, and then you want feedback of your products. So there are at least 100 different ways in technology today where an individual can give feedback about the product that individual has used. And you're a big conglomerate, a very big company, your turnover is 50,000 crores like that. So many products you're selling, and then the customer is giving feedback about your product. So you assimilate all the customer feedback so that you can improve your performance. You can learn from customer feedback. So all that data from different sources is accumulated, and then it may be collected at a single location, that is data warehouse. So data warehouse is a huge collection of data. There has to be one common element that brings that data together. Like, for example, Facebook, Google, Gmail, they have large data warehouses. So it has to be collected at a singular location. So that is data warehouse. The second word Darshan has used is data warehousing. So data warehousing is the process of doing it. So that is how the words are related. Okay. So it's a good question to answer. It is part of the syllabus, not discussed here. It is part in the, it is going to come in the later chapters. Okay, great. Now, here we were day before yesterday on benefits of ERP system. So let us have a fast recall. So ERP is enterprise resource planning, a system that ensures the proper usage of resources, effective and efficient economical usage of resources. That is what an ERP system is all about. So what we are looking into is benefits of ERP system. Now, see, do understand that today all across the globe, people have implemented ERP systems. It may be based on the size and scale. It may be small, large, whatever it is, but large systems are being used across the world, and people are investing huge money. So before we take the next heading, benefits of ERP system, let me share a case with you. So it's about a large public sector undertaking across the globe. And so this public sector undertaking, so I'll be sharing some data with you. I want you to answer the question once I put the data here. So they implemented a huge ERP system. The implementation cost of ERP system was 100 crores. So 100 crores they invested in an ERP system. Now, once they invested 100 crores in an ERP system, the entity started saving roughly 40 crores per annum as they had implemented that ERP system. So with only this data, I want all of you to comment in the chat the payback period or ROI, return on investment. So two things I want you to comment on this data, that they invested 100 crores in an ERP system and 40 crores they started saving annually once they had implemented the ERP system. That is one. So I want you to write the return on investment when they implemented an ERP system. Then the company had an additional payback, that they did a one-time benefit came out of this ERP system that resulted in an additional cash of 35 crores being generated in first year. Now, please understand that if you look to cash payback, 75% of cash payback has been generated in the first year itself. And looking to an annual idea behind it, 2.5 years as 40% is your ROI. So believe me, if an entity goes for a good system implementation, the initial payback is in this parameters only. Uh, just for example's sake, some time back, we did have some experience like that. So for the entity, the job was done. Their cash payback was not even 2 months. So that is a phenomenal. So if you do a good ERP implementation, you generate real profit, real benefits for your entity. Let us bring some discussion we had in chapter 1. We talked about that snack seller. I told you that that snack seller just did a simple automation, a business process automation, and they generated within 1 month, they were able to generate the turnover of an annual for a full year in 1 month. And I did share that time also that real cash payback of that entity would be like 1 week, not even 1 week, I would say 1 day only. So if you do a system phenomenally good, then your returns are fantastic. Let us see, let us read through this. That was the reason I skipped this discussion day before yesterday. It's a very important and a learning discussion. What benefits entity get when they implement an enterprise resource planning system? So let us have a fast recall of the definition. Enterprise resource planning system is a system that ensures proper planning of all the resources, men, money, material, machine, method, market, so that they are effectively, efficiently, and economically used. That system, what we call as an ERP system. Yes, so all of you have answered very correctly. Let us read one by one, and then I'll try to share some practical examples for this. Now, again, if this exam, let us do another exercise on exam today again. Suppose the question comes in examination, write the benefits of ERP system. Suppose the question comes in examination, write the benefits of ERP system. So I want you to write in the chat box, what shall be the para 1 of your answer. परीक्षा में सवाल आया ERP के बेनिफिट्स बताएं, तो आप सब लोग चैट में लिखकर मुझे बताएं कि आपके जवाब का जो प्रथम पैरा है वह क्या होगा. Suppose the question comes in examination, write the benefits of ERP system. So I want all of you to answer the first para, what it shall be in your examination. Okay, let us read through. So once I get the answer of your para 1, then I'll tell you which para we are reading through. Great. So we have already got answers. Sunil, Diksha. Very good. Meaning of ERP, definition of ERP. So first para has to be meaning, definition, and please make it as a rule, even only when it is not an MCQ. If it is a question that requires some lines to be written, irrespective of the associated marks of the question, always define the keyword first and then go to the basic content. So the keyword will be, the first para will be definition. What we are reading is second para, and para 3 has to be live example. So there are many examples. They are in the module. We'll be reading through those examples. Few, if you can logically reproduce, you can reproduce from what you read through in newspapers. One thing I want all of you to do is kindly try to add reading a financial newspaper daily. मैं यह चाहता हूं कि आप सब लोग रोज एक वित्तीय आर्थिक खबरों का अखबार पढ़ना शुरू करें. Kindly start reading that. So one thing I want all of you to start reading today, from today onwards till you become chartered accountants. And believe me, after you become chartered accountant, you will be automatically doing it. Just for sake of discussion, since last 30 years, I've been reading Financial daily, 1 hour daily. You have to read a newspaper. That keeps you updated on how things are flowing. So I want you to, all of you, to get into reading two very important things. First, a financial newspaper daily, and kindly start reading this balance sheet of listed companies. These are available online. You can download and read. Those of you who have people in family investing in listed company shares, so this balance sheet was previously sent through post, but now it is not sent through post. It is available online in PDF. So please start reading this listed company's audited balance sheet. So this is going to fundamentally help you understand all this, how what you are learning, how it is practically applied, practically disclosed. And the best part that you are going to learn through will be, say, all accounting standards you are reading, auditing standards, the disclosures, and what the management discussion. So start reading this audited company's balance sheet. So I want all of you to start reading two things. 1 hour for this activity, reading English newspaper or any financial daily, and reading listed companies audited balance sheet. It is going to fundamentally help you. So coming back to the question, so para 1 you have all answered correctly, definition, meaning of ERP. Para 2 is on screen, and para 3 is an example. So these examples, when you start reading financial daily, that crystallization of example is going to be there in your mind. You will be able to reproduce it very well in examination. So this is what I want from all of you, P1, P2, and P3. Okay. Now let us start reading the answer. So we are reading para 2, benefits of ERP, information integration. Now see, understand that when you implement an enterprise resource planning system, all the functions, sub-functions, departments of the entity are brought together. A common platform is created. So all are talking in same language. So very good information interface is created because the language they are talking to each other is standardized. So when you talk in standardized language, you understand what the other person, other department is saying, what is the intent of that, what action is expected out of you. So this improves the integration of information. And what is information? Information is that is, I think you have read this somewhere, you must have learned definition of information. So that is important. It's always better to discuss anything that is good. So, okay, I want all of you to write definition of information. Information क्या है? मैं चाहता हूं आप लोग परिभाषित करें चैट में. Please write what you mean by information. Okay, then once I get the definition, I'll read through that. So information integration. So all people get information in an integrated manner, in a holistic manner, in a structured manner. Then reduction of lead time. In fact, the day before yesterday, that ERP, a very small Excel sheet that we talked about. So lead time is because information is flowing fast. Everyone knows what is being done, what is expected. So lead time is the action taken time is reduced. Then on-time shipment. I think this we have done very practically, because when you have an integrated system, you can calculate what is going to be your delivery time. We talked about in the live example we took day before that if a product is to be manufactured and if system is integrated, so system automatically tells that the order is, say, for example, you have received order for 150 kilograms of ice cream, 100 kilograms of ice cream is in stock, 50 need to be manufactured. The 50 kilograms of ice cream which needed to be manufactured, the necessary raw material is in stock. The manufacturing cycle is, say, 7 days. So system automatically tells that by the 10th day, we will be able to deliver, or as the case may be. So on-time shipment, you can always calculate what time you need to commit for shipping of a order that you have received. Then reduction in cycle time. Cycle time is the processing time. So you can say it is like procure to pay, order to cash. These are cycles. So whenever you have an integrated system, because information flow is very fast, action is in a standardized, structured manner. So those people who need to take decisions, who need to act upon information, they act in a timely, fast, structured manner. This helps save time. Just take this example. How does it build? So I'm just creating an example. See, today, there are companies, large manufacturers in India, across the globe. So suppose I am a steel manufacturer, my turnover is, say, 1 lakh crore. Now, if I am a steel manufacturer with a turnover of 1 lakh crore, then I will have hundreds and thousands of customers at one end and hundreds and thousands of vendors at other end. Now, I need to interlink, I need to manage this. So this company, what they have done, They have created separate login IDs for vendors. Now, so this company has integrated its ERP to vendors. Now see how it works. So companies manufacturer of steel, and here are vendors, a supplier of chemicals, key raw materials for manufacture of steel. So this company's key raw materials reorder level in set in the ERP system. This is automatically linked to the system of vendors. So as soon as an item's level is hit at reorder level, automatic trigger is sent to the vendor. Please understand. So vendor has a daily update. What is the status of raw material in the manufacturer of this product? So as soon as the vendor gets an update, there is a EOQ, economic order quantity, reorder quantity, that is already pre-decided between the user and between the supplier. Based on that, immediately vendor sends that product. So just understand. So you need not worry about a purchase manager or release of a purchase order. It has already been linked into system. Because it is working in such a linked manner, point number 4 is triggered, reduction in cycle time. So immediately this whole process, this your procure to pay cycle is reduced substantially, because you need not have a person to whom you need to give a message like that. That is how it works. Reduction in cycle time. Then improved resource utilization. Yes, in fact, when we started, the definition that we have created is ERP is going to manage resources. So I've told you 6M. What are those 6M? Okay, men, money, material, machine, market, methods. So ERP improves this 6M. So, and these are my resources. That is why the name is enterprise resource planning. So this is a fundamental benefit that you get from a ERP system. And suppose I am a customer, I am buyer of that ice cream, and the vendor to whom I am placing, the manufacturer to whom I am placing the order, if the manufacturer can give me the exact date, so your ice cream will be delivered by the 10th day. Or suppose the manufacturing cycle is say only 24 hours. We must be seeing on a lot of channels this inside the factory is one of the programs that I watch a lot. So I've come to a realization that the manufacturing cycle of ice cream is only 24 hours, not more than that. So if I am the buyer of the ice cream and I place an order and my manufacturer says, sir, tomorrow by 4 p.m., the ice cream will be delivered. I'm so satisfied because exact delivery time has been given. Better customer satisfaction. This is very, very important. Then improved supplier performance. Yes, I've given that live example to you because you have integrated your system with the supplier system. So as soon as an item's reorder level is hit, your supplier is electronically intimated in his system, the supplier system. So this intimation can be in multiple formats. This intimation can be through an email, through an SMS. People have integrated their ERP system to WhatsApp messages. You can send a WhatsApp message, get a confirmation. So anyway, you have informed your supplier that this is the status of inventory, and immediately supplier sends you the ROQ, EOQ quantity of the product so ordered. So improved supplier performance. The supplier is acting fast. This word that I wanted you to write, the discussion I am having, it is a very special word. आपने सीखा है, ये जो discussion मैं आपसे कर रहा हूँ ना, that manufacturer has linked his or their system to their supplier system. It creates a very important word. We also discussed one time in our discussion, and you have read it very specifically. This is a very good example that triggers that word. So what is this I am talking about? I want you to tell me this word. Okay. So there are 2-3 questions you are answering. By the end of this slide, we'll just take your answers. Okay. So what you are telling, this linking of manufacturer system to supplier system, automatic intimation of the status of the product to the supplier triggers a concept. What is that concept? Define that. Okay. Then increased flexibility. Now, what does it mean? Because information flow is there, the person who is going to take decision based on information, the data is there. So I know what action I can take first, what action I have to take first. Second, because the information is available fast very instantaneously. So when there is no delay in information, then I can always look for options to do. Okay, this is what I can do. This is what I can do. So that flexibility is built because the data is available. The decision triggering information is available. So that adds to flexibility. Just giving an example. Say, for example, you have to travel from, say, Mumbai to Delhi, and there is some urgency. Let us not define the urgency, but there is an urgency for which you need to travel from Mumbai to Delhi. Now, because in just now you came to know that you have to travel to Delhi and you have to reach as soon as possible. So whatever you can buy a train ticket, a bus ticket, or if possible, you can expend that, you buy a air flight ticket. So because you have to take immediate decision, you have to act on it. The flexibility is not there. You have to just do it now. But what happens when you have an ERP system? Because ERP systems gives you information quite early. It gives trend. It gives how things are moving. You can always forecast. Just it is part of the chapter we are going to talk about. See, in the materials management, there's a module we'll be talking about materials management. So it keeps a track of the available inventory. It keeps a track of orders book position. So the materials management module we'll be discussing in the later part of the chapter. This materials management module tells you that this critical item of material which is available in stock, it is going to hit your reorder level 30 days from today. So you can forecast. Okay, so it tells you आज से 30 दिन बाद इस माल को खरीदना पड़ेगा. It tells you that you will have to buy this product 30 days ahead. Now see, just understand the information value of this discussion or this info data. Product is going to go up. Suppose it's an increasing trend, then what I do, I place order for that product, discussing with the management. I am the purchase manager. I place the order. I place the order in today's price with supply date of 30 days. Just see what cost I have saved. And believe me, we are talking of costs that may run in crores and hundreds and thousands of crore or crores of rupees just because of this simple decision. That is the flexibility it creates because it has capability of creating forecasting. Then this is one example. You can take another example. This ERP system has a financial module also. So this financial module forecasts your cash flow, that how your cash flow is going to run in the next, say, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and a year ahead. That also allows you to take decision, flexibility. Just linking this flexibility to something that you all know. In banking, I talked about, you said we had discussion this, we probably talked about CRR, SLR. Did we talk about that? Yes. So there is what ALM, asset liability management, what bankers have to do. So bankers have to calculate, create a table of maturity pattern of assets and compare that with maturity pattern of liability of a bank. It is part of the syllabus. You are going to read this in chapter 5. This module, it is part of your syllabus in bank audit. This is part of your syllabus in bank accounting. So many chapters you have this word of ALM, asset liability management. Now, so what bankers have to make an assessment that what is their maturity pattern of assets, compare same with the maturity pattern of their liability. And they don't do for 1 day, 2 days. They do for 1 day, 1 week, 15 days, 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 10 years beyond. That is a big chart that you make. You must get a format in your modules, accounts audit. Then, so what is asset of the bank? Advance is an asset. What is liability of the bank? Deposit is a liability. So bank use ERP system. Bank has a specialized ERP. We'll be talking about in chapter 5. So that specialized ERP that is with the bank, it gives a cash ALM projection for next 5 years. So banker is able to see today that from 5 years from today, what shall be my status of whether my liability will be maturing fast or my assets will be maturing fast. That is flexibility because it creates information, it forecasts information. That is. Then reduced quality cost. Yes, because everything is planned, everything is known. The quality issues are reduced to a level, then it helps. Better analysis, planning capabilities. We have taken real good examples. You can carry these examples and give those examples. These are part of the syllabus. Improved information accuracy and decision making capability. Yes, because ERP, the core part of the ERP is generating information. And then you can use latest technology. And just for the sake of it, there's a chapter 4 we'll be talking about on that. See, latest is this technology. This is latest. Please understand, laptop and iPads and pads are gone. This is the technology, mobile. So whatever you talk today, you have to imagine how that technology is going to be integrated into your mobile. So today, companies, big ERP vendors integrate their system to this mobile so that information is available on mobile to any user as per the need, as per the requirement. So this is use of latest technology. That was chapter 1, chapter 2, day 1 lecture. Now, because there are many answers, let us see. So payback, most of you said correctly. Para 1, definition of ERP. Para 2 is this benefits, and para 3, these examples we have talked about. Now, then I asked you definition of information. Okay. Information is facts relating. So I'll read with name. Okay, good. So Darshan, data which is useful is information. Good. Sunil Kumar, process data is information. Great. Manisha, form of data which helps in decision making. Kiran, information is facts related to subject. Harshit, facts or details about someone or something. Okay. Adya, information is knowledge or idea about a study, investigation or fact. Great. Diksha, facts or statement is the information that help in decision making. Rajiv Kumar Singh, information means facts obtained by investigating about something. Good. All your information, all your definitions are correct. Some updates I'll do at the end of it. Then Varsha, information is any type of text collated for a particular object in specific format. Your guess is correct, Darshan. Then, okay. So procure to pay was the cycle Harshita said. Then, yes, automation, BPA, chain. Okay, you are guessing that linking. Okay. So procure to pay, then automation of business process. That is good. In a general sense, that answer is correct. I wanted that word, improved supplier performance. IoT, then chain, BPA. Varsha, you guessed it correctly. You could have built on it. Chain. Proper chain in place. That is also Varsha said it the same way. BPA, procure to pay. Yeah. So the answer to the word is, let me type here. JIT, just in time. So when you integrate your system with supplier system, what is just in time? Just in time is having minimum inventory at your end and ensuring all inventory is maintained at supplier's end. So see, just imagine what level of cost. Imagine that company with 1 lakh crore annual turnover. If 1 lakh crore is their annual turnover, they must be buying, say, raw material up to, say, I think 75,000 crores with a gross profit rate of, say, 33%. So 75,000 crores inventory they are buying annually, raw materials. And if you divide that by 12, so let us make it as simple as that. Let us take it as 72 by 12 is, say, 6. So 12, yeah. So 6,000 crores inventory annually. And if you can just imagine the interest cost of having that inventory in your 1 day's interest cost. So 6,000 crore is monthly inventory, 200 crores is daily inventory at a rate of 12% per annum. I think this 2,000 crores, 200 crore inventory is going to have a interest cost of something around, say, 50 lakh 1 crore. So that is the multiplier effect of doing things properly in ERP system. Just in time, yes. Darshan, no. So Darshan has put a good point. So I'm linking those. Let me read what Darshan has said. and then I'll link it so that you can remember it correctly. Okay. So Darshan says JIT is a type of procure to pay. So I'm improving the quality of answer. Your point is taken. So what I say, see, procure to pay is a cycle. So through JIT, you reduce this cycle time. Through JIT, you reduce this cycle time. That is how you. Okay. So just give me a second. I'll bring today's presentation. Just 15 seconds. Yeah. Okay. So let us start where we left. So we completed that topic, and that was the reason that I thought it's a very good topic. It must be done afresh. Benefits of ERP, and very near to my heart also. So chapter 2, day 2, financial and accounting system. Standard disclosures. Okay. So we talked about ERP, the benefits. Now risk and controls in an ERP system. So this is the topic that we are going to start our discussion today from. Let us just have a refresh. Any queries we have? Yeah, good. Good. So Kiran also tried to link it correctly, water purifier example, but that technology, you don't say IoT, Internet of Things. It's basically because you're linking to a vendor and a supplier or a vendor and a customer. So that is JIT. Okay. But someone did say yes. So those of people who use what the chain. So let me complete that. That's SCM, supply chain management. Those of you who use chain, so it is supply chain management. To that extent, chain was valid, but then you have to give the full name. Okay. So now risk and controls in an ERP system. So introduction, risk and controls relating to ERP and role-based accounting in ERP. So we'll take it. Again, we'll have a very good case study based MCQ in today's session. Okay. What exactly is an issue? So let us learn. See, during a course of our discussion, we talked about a risk. The risk was, let me write that risk again. Okay. So then you'll get an idea what we are basically looking at. I am taking the same values. My reorder value is say 100 and someone intentionally makes it 75 or someone makes it say 125. This example we have talked about that a person fraudulently changes the reorder level in my system. So the correct value is 100, but someone changes it to 75 or say 125. So we have already analyzed the impact of that. Right now, we are not looking for the impact of this. What we are basically looking the event itself, the happening of it. Okay. Now see, because it's a interlinked system, just look to the example we talked about, that my system is linked to my vendor system also. The reorder level of the critical raw material is set in my system. And my system is going to trigger a purchase order directly that is going to go to the vendor. So if a person of say a hacker or a employee with fraud intention, he or she modifies the reorder level in my system, what will happen? It is going to trigger an action. So it can trigger a early purchase order or it can trigger a delay purchase order. We have talked about that. But what is going to happen? Because this triggering of purchase order is linked to my vendor. So the error happens in my system. The fraud is in my system. It triggers an action in vendor system. It's a huge issue. Okay. So because ERP works in a consolidated, centralized manner, it creates a risk that could be unauthorized access or incorrect unauthorized updates. So the example we talked about is basically unauthorized updates as person fraudulently changing the value of reorder level of items in my inventory. Unauthorized access could be that, say, for example, today, see, lot of, we'll be talking about it. It is part of the discussion because there are large companies, large corporates, and hundreds and thousands. And now we have companies in India where lakh employees are also working. So these companies give password to the employee. There are restrictions what an individual he, she can do and what an individual he, she cannot do. Keeping it as simple as that, we talked about the word segregation of duties. Say, for example, a cashier cannot create a voucher, a cashier cannot alter a voucher. So in the access right of the cashier, you say you cannot alter, but then cashier using a different password, he or she must have captured that password, goes and logs into the system and alters a voucher. So that becomes an unauthorized access. So that is what is the risk that you have with ERP systems. No. See, just adding a quality to that, Darshan has asked a question. That's a central database and central data warehouse would be would make them appear as same, but ideally they will not be same. Suppose who would be larger in size. So data warehouse will be larger in size because data warehouse will have huge data from all different sources. Whatever data is available in data warehouse has to be what you call as collated. Some action has to be done on that data warehouse to create a actionable data out of it. But central database is like banks maintain central database. They don't have a central warehouse like that. But then for large entities at a big scale, the definitions may merge. They may appear as same, but there is a slight technique. There is a very thin dividing line between these two. Then, so risk and controls of ERP relating to people related risk, process, technological risk, implementation and post implementation issue. So this is again a very good discussion. It is going to take some time of us. So we are going to take this discussion from the module itself. Okay. Just keep those practical examples I have shared with you. So this is going to help you grasp this well. Just allow me to bring the module. Okay. So we have two more updates. Data warehouse is inclusive. Yeah. So answer is yes to that, Adya. Data, then Ankita has a issue. Data out of data warehouse also is risk. Yeah. Of course. See, any data kept at any location, you need to have access control. So that risk is available with any data. That is accepted. Yes. Now, risk. So people process. So let us take one by one. Now, see, please understand, this question is going to come in examination. Okay. So suppose the question comes that what are the sources of risks to ERP system? So then you have to say again, if the question comes in examination, okay, this is a good exercise for examination. I'm reading the question. The question in examination is what is the risk or say sources of risk to ERP system? Sources of risk to ERP system. I want you to write para 1. Means you have to tell me what shall be the core content of para 1. I'm repeating the question. The question is source of risk to ERP system. I want you to write para 1 in the chat. Then I'll read. So people aspect. So employee management, implementation team, consultants and vendors are crucial factors that decide the success or failure of an ERP system. So risk and control relating to ERP system. So we are talking about the risk that you need to manage. Okay. So there are tables given. So first we are reading the people aspect. The question you are answering is para 1 of the question, the risk to ERP systems. Aspects is change management. Now understand, change management has multiple connotations and denotions. In chapter 1, we did it very ethically. Change. So change has to be prioritized, change has to be approved, change has to be correctly made in system. Someone has to check whether the change has been correctly made. Then there has to be a review whether change made is working properly or not. So within change, there are at least 6-7 aspects to be looked into. Let us read that here. So what is the risk? Change will occur in employee job profile in terms of some jobs becoming irrelevant and new being created. Yes. What you require, proper training of the users with documented manuals, hands-on training in system so that the transition is good. Yes. So change management, first aspect is few jobs becoming irrelevant, few becoming more relevant. So employee need to be trained. So what is the solution? Proper training. Then second aspect in change management, the way in which organization functions will change. The planning, forecasting, decision-making capabilities will improve. Yes, so this is the core reason why we have got an ERP. So this is going to be there. It requires ensuring that a project charter or mission statement exists. The project requirements are to be properly documented and signed by users and senior management. So whatever you want that ERP to implement, in terms of information processing capabilities, it needs to be documented and everyone needs to agree that this is what is going to be the new way of working. Then changing the scope. Yeah. So when you are implementing the ERP system, this issue may also come that while implementing the scope may change. So you need to manage that very clearly. Okay. Then training. Yes, this is very, very, very important. Any new thing, any new system that is put in place, employee need to be trained very well on the system. This aspect need to be taken care by entities to any level. So training, so very important. So I'm not reading that through. Okay. Then next aspect is staff turnover. Now what happens that as you go for implementation, so as the overall system is integrated and connected with each other in each department, it becomes sometimes complicated and difficult to understand. So qualified employee may leave, then you need to get new employees. So this you need to manage. So what you need to do that to ensure that employees don't leave, you allocate right employee to the right place, have good compensation for them in terms of salary and perks so that they don't leave. So when you are implementing ERP system, people related issue also includes the staff turnover. The employee may leave the organization. Then the success of any ERP that is being implemented is dependent upon the support by top management. टॉप मैनेजमेंट ने आपके इम्प्लीमेंटेशन को कितना सपोर्ट किया है, वो आपके ERP की सक्सेस और फेलियर को डिनोट करता है. Then consultants. In fact, as I recall, probably step 5 of business process automation was hiring of an expert. So in chapter 1, we talked about that expert is you or me. So once you become chartered accountants, you have to become business process automation consultant. That is this. So these are experts in implementation of ERP package, might not be familiar with the internal working. So what is the problem? Problem is the expert that you have hired For implementing your ERP system, she may not understand the business, but she need to understand the logics. So the consultant should be assigned a liaison officer who can familiarize the consultant with the way business is doing. वो बता पाए कि भाई हमारे काम करने का तरीका ऐसा है. That is. So when you are going for implementation, these are the people related issues. So I had asked the question, let us see how you have answered. Para 1. For this, the people who get the correct answer will get e-chocolate. Yeah. So good. Few of you have tried to put it more correctly. So like Prithvi says, para 1 risk in ERP system. So I wanted, in fact, what I basically wanted, you need, when I asked this question, I wanted all of you to say that in para 1, you are going to define two terms. One is ERP, other is risk. Okay. So that those of you who have used in para 1 risk, they are eligible for e-chocolate, but two definitions were needed. One was ERP, another was risk. Risk we have learned in chapter 1. Okay. So that is why I told you that we need to take this whole course together. Huh? पांचों चैप्टर एक साथ ही मानना है. Okay. No, Varsha, para 1 will cover all different risks. Yeah, so you need not give risk in detail. You have to only define risk. Type of risk is not expected. That is the para 2 content you are going to see. Definition of risk. Okay. So para 1, para 1 is definition of ERP and risk. And para 2 is the content that you are talking about. Okay, good. So let us go ahead to the next issue that comes in implementation, that is process. When you're implementing the process related issues, the foremost is program, the whole implementation management. There could be a possibility of information gap between day-to-day program management activities and ERP enabled functions like materials, procurement, planning. So what is required? So there could be a gap. What is needed, what is available. This requires bridging the information gap between traditional ERP-based functions and high-value management information functions, such as so that the applications can provide reliable, real-time information for decision making. So see what is needed. So there is a chance of that information gap may come in. You need to manage it so that it doesn't come here. And this is a word you have read in BPR, business process reengineering. Kindly give definition, something about BPR. I think it is part of your the other 50 strategic management paper. You must be having BPR. See, what exactly is business process reengineering? So I'm taking a very different example. Okay. See, generally, my wishes are always that all of us clear our examination in first attempt. Yes. So I wish we all clear in first attempt, but then sometimes we are not able to do it. So first attempt, if we are not able to do it, then we bring more energy in our second attempt appearance in examination. Suppose I am not able to clear in second attempt also. So see, when I am not able to clear in my second attempt, I am slightly confused. The confusion I as a student carries, I studied well in first attempt. I had put more energy in second attempt. So then what I need to change in third attempt? What I need to do afresh? So the answer to your question is the word BPR. You do a business process reengineering for the way you are studying. Okay. So let me read this definition. So business process reengineering means not just change, but dramatic change and dramatic improvement. It basically means that you consider whatever you are doing today as a scratch trash, throw away it in dustbin. एक बार पढ़ाई की नहीं पास हो पाए, दूसरी बार और मेहनत करते हैं और जोश लगाते हैं, पढ़ते हैं, तब भी नहीं पास हो पाते हैं, तो तीसरी बार जब पढ़ने बैठते हैं तो एक मन में कंफ्यूजन, अब क्या करें, 2 बार हो गया। तब जब ऐसा कभी हो तो फिर हमको हमारे पढ़ने के तरीके को किस शब्द से गुणा करना है? बिजनेस प्रोसेस रीइंजीनियरिंग. Whenever you face a situation like that, multiply your way of studying with business process reengineering. That is, consider everything as trash and start afresh. Everything has to be done in a new manner. That word is business process reengineering. And I'll try to share with an example why this word is very, in fact, suppose a question, not for exam, only for discussion. Suppose a question is put that what could be the few factors which may lead to failure of ERP? Okay, not for you, but only for discussion. Why an ERP may fail? So one of the core reasons that an ERP implementation may fail is because entity did not do its BPR correctly. So I'm telling you what exactly BPR looks like. Allow me. This is the entity today. So this is how it looks like. You have heard a single cellular body called as amoeba. So our entity is like amoeba. It grows here, there, and then this is the way it is working. This is today. Now, this is how it must look like. I need to improve. We'll do it again. So my entity is like a single cellular amoeba going here, there, person doing their job as per their requirement. But when I go for ERP, it has to be structured. A frame, a boundary has built. Believe me, so this amoeba shaped structure has to be converted into a rectangle or a square as the case may be. You take, this, chisel it out. So you take the cheni hathodi and chisel the entity. So you actually delete, remove those things which are not needed, because now you need to convert your entity from a undefined structure to a defined structure. This process of converting an undefined entity to a defined entity is what you call as business process re-engineering. Now let us read definition. So BPR means not just change, but dramatic change and dramatic improvement. This requires overhauling of the organizational structures, the systems, the job description, the performance management, skill development, training, and use of technology. In fact, BPR could be 8 hours discussion by itself. That is what business process reengineering is. So business process reengineering is fundamentally redefining the way you are working to suit the requirement of the system that you want to implement. So your ERP system is like a rectangle and your organization is like this amoeba shaped structure. So this amoeba shaped structure is cut down, chiseled, put under a lathe machine to ensure that the entity appears like a rectangle, and now that ERP will be placed on your end. That is business process re-engineering. So that is process related issues that come in during implementation. You have some questions? Yeah, BPR you have learned. Great. Then you must link. Yes. So whatever you are doing is throw away that, do it afresh. That is BPR. New framework. Good. So Adya says new framework. Diksha, BPR is redesigning the process of business. Harshit, building of strategy from scratch. Great. Darshan, Starting a business process from scratch, removing redundant processes. Very good. Sunil Kumar, redefining the word, start from scratch. And you learned in SM, yes, strategic management. So see, ours is a king subject. Huh? Great. So even again, not there being in syllabus for other people, we learn it so that you can apply it once you become chartered accountants also. Then the next aspect, technological aspects for where you are while you are implementing your ERP system. So organizations implementing ERP system should keep abreast of the latest technological developments and implementation which is required to survive and thrive. Yes, everything has to be latest. What are the aspects? Software functionality. Okay. So ERP system offers myriad of features, functions, were not all may be needed. So implementing all the functionality and feature could, for the sake of it, can be disaster. Now see, let us read the control, then we'll discuss. Care should be taken to incorporate the features that are required by the organization and supporting additional features and functionality that may be required at a future date. Okay, see, it's a very good question to get answer from you. Now, let us have a thinking process. So I am asking you a question. What is the risk? What it is basically saying that, see, ERPs are large software and they cover every aspect of the entity. So like, so say for example, your ERP module, ERP software that you want to buy has 15 different modules. We have talked about ERP is a modular system. Modular means you can take it in breaks. There are special available bricks that you can buy out. Suppose you're owner, you're managing director of a company that say a company with a turnover of say 1,000 crores. And now you have to decide that these are the 15 modules of ERP and here is your entity of 1,000 crores. So I want you to write in the chat which module to select. Okay. Which module to select for implementation, how you as managing director is going to decide. Have I put my question clearly? We are trying to understand the issue of software functionality. What is the issue that has been raised? Issue is that, see, because ERP is going to cater to all functions, many functions for all organizations, it is not desired to have it for all the functions. So there has to be a basis for which function I am going to select the ERP system or which module of ERP I am going to implement. So I'm putting this question back to you, that you're owner of an entity with a 1,000 crore turnover and you are trying to implement an ERP system. The ERP system has 15 modules and you have to make a decision of which out of this 15 which you need to implement. So वो आप कैसे चुनेंगे कि कहाँ implement कर? Answer then will come. This is a very good topic to learn. Then technological obsolescence. So this risk is with all technologies. And in fact, I'm taking very different examples because as of now, you all buy mobiles which are the cash flow for buying your mobiles affects your parents' cash flow. So you tell your parents that I always want the latest mobile to use. Why latest? Because of this word technological obsolescence. What is that word? With the advent of more efficient technologies every day, the ERP system may also become obsolete over a period of time. So you need to ensure that the technology, the architecture, the system that you are implementing is latest and it can be upgraded as per the needs as it comes about. Then enhancements and upgrades. ERP systems are not upgraded and kept up to date. Okay, let me complete this. Patches and upgrades are not installed and tools are underutilized. So then you must ensure that while you select a vendor, the upgrades are there. Please understand that as time has evolved, this problem doesn't exist because if there is a vendor who is not going to give upgrades today, that vendor will not be in business. He or she will be out of business, but let us take as it is. So whatever ERP you implement, you must have a what you call as a service level agreement with your vendor, that the vendor is going to give you regular updates. Very, very, very important. Then application portfolio management. This process focuses on selection of new business application and projects which are required. By bringing to light the sheer number of applications in current portfolio, the IT organizations can begin and reduce duplication and complexity. So over a period of time, see, as you start using ERP systems, what is going to happen? Let's suppose when you started, say 5 years back, for a single transaction, you had two applications being used, but today technology has merged the two. So you go for single application. That is what is application portfolio management. And to the question I put. Okay, I'll read. So I'll not read with name, but I'll read. So which has low risk and ROIs is high. Will be implementing those modules which are relevant to our organization. So I take a word relevant. Advanced module which cannot be done manually easy. Module which has feature which is required by our organization will be selected. Will be choosing for procurement details of goods, that is materials management. JIT is an application of it, the result of it. So I take procurement and materials management, check features and match with the company's current and future requirement. So I take current and future requirement on the basis of business requirement, on the basis of objectives. So I take the word business requirement and objectives. So I've taken 4 words: relevant, current, future requirement, business requirement, future objective. And the key is we take those modules which are critical to the success of the entity. CSF, critical success factors. So like now I'm multiplying this word critical success factors with what you have given. So someone said, I'm a manufacturing company. For a manufacturing company, inventory management, supply chain management, customer relationship management could be very critical. So I'm going to take those modules. So for the managing director who is managing director of a company with 1000 crores turnover, 15 modules to be selected. So his keyword will be, I will select those modules which are critical to success of my business and which are needed in the future course of my business. So these 4 words are good to learn, carry. Yeah. No, Varsha, the selection of the module for any entity has to be defined like which is necessary for success, which is critical for success. That is how you do it. Okay. And then beyond that, you say traders, manufacturers, that is beyond that. Yeah, CSF. See, so when we are talking about ERP per se, so most of the words we are getting from strategic management. And exactly, see, to implement ERP, that decision is done by top management. It's a strategic decision. Please understand. The idea that I want to implement an ERP system is a strategic decision, a board of directors decision, a top management decision. That is why so many terminologies that we have learned in SM are being reused here again. Okay. Then implementation issues, risk. Many times ERP implementation and withdrawn. Yes, withdrawn because the time it takes is huge. But then please understand that ERP implementation is a time drawn process. Okay. In the module, it is written 1 to 4 years. Yes. So that is why what entities do, they start with the more critical function first, and then slowly they start with the non-critical over a period of time. So it takes time. So because time has cost, there's another, we must have read this law of diminishing utility. So as time passes on, the enthusiasm to have ERP tapers down, it goes down. So you need to ensure that all the constituents, all the people involved in the whole process of implementation, maybe user, maybe developer, the management itself, they are motivated so that the implementation goes properly, but it takes time. Please understand, it takes time. The only thing that you need to do is you need to manage the project properly so that you don't waste time during implementation. But it's not that today you think of ERP and next month you'll have the ERP. No, that's not there. It is going to take its own time. You need to manage it well. You need to keep motivated the person involved, ensure that they don't, their enthusiasm doesn't taper down. Then this is a issue that you top management has to consider when they are saying. So when you say that we want an ERP to be implemented, so top management has to understand that implementation has a direct, indirect cost associated. So all things have to be considered. Then you sanction implementation, including cost for contingencies also. Then data safety, we have talked about. Let us read through. As there is only one set of data, then business may be hit. So you need to have proper backup. So during implementation also, you must have backup of data. Speed of operation, as data is centralized, maintained, the size becomes more, it may reduce speed. So you need to what we call as fine-tuning database, database restructuring to maintain the speed of access. So that is like you have this defragmentation. You must have seen in your laptop desktop, there's a concept of defragmentation of your drives. So that process you need to do for your database. Something more will come in chapter 3. Then system failure, yes, so system may fail. So you need to have a fallback mechanism, backup of data, all is needed. And access to data needs to be controlled. There is this line coming. Just keep a note of this. This is very important. I'll underline this. Any access to any individual has to be need to know and need to do basis. This we also call as, I'll just write that word. This is also called as principle of least privilege. Principle of least privilege. जिसको जितनी जरूरत है उतना ही क्या दिया जाएगा, एक्सेस दिया जाएगा. Then the last part of this post implementation aspects. So after this we'll take a break. Let us complete this. ERP operation maintenance require lifelong, yes, commitment by the entity. So this need to be very well understood. So even after the ERP implementation, there will always be new modules, versions, updates needed. You must be doing that. So that is, let us see your questions. Okay. Adya asked application portfolio management. So let me scroll up. Let me explain that. Yeah. Let me read that. So application portfolio management, we are reading in the topic heading process, technological aspects. Okay. So the process focuses on selection of new business application and the projects required in delivering them. By bringing to light the sheer number of applications in current portfolio, IT organizations can begin to reduce duplication and complexity. Now, what is the basic issue? See, you are going for ERP implementation. So during this process of implementation, many business applications are acquired. They need to be implemented. So you talk about an application, you think it's a new application, it has to be implemented. Now, what happens that over a period of time, lot of applications are implemented. There is a chance that there is a duplication within the application. So you must keep yourself aware that whatever applications you are implementing, say over a period of 5 years from now, you must have something called as an application restructuring or application review or application portfolio management to see whether there are applications which can be merged together so that the number of applications to be managed is reduced. That is the core idea. APM, application portfolio management. Okay. So it's 7:10. So we are taking a break. We'll reassemble at 7.20, 7:20. It's a break. Okay, so welcome back after this tea break. So here we were, the issues to be considered during implementation. So let us go back to our slide. Any questions on this aspect? Please do ask. Then, risk and controls of ERP, role-based access controls in an ERP system. So we have taken a lot of example to understand what exactly would be a role-based access system. Let us read the definition. In a computer center security, role-based access controls is an approach to restrict system access to authorized users. It is used by most enterprises and can have two implementation methodologies: mandatory access control or discretionary access control. RBAC is sometimes referred to as role-based security. Role-based access control is a policy-neutral access control mechanism that with defined roles and privileges. So let us see ahead. Mandatory access control. So it is defined by system admin. It is strictly enforced by the operating system. It cannot be altered by end users. Access to resources are only to people device with requisite security clearance. Central authority monitors. Government, military organization use a mandatory access control. That means if you read it, so for a defined resource, no one can access without access control being there, and you cannot delegate that also. That becomes a restriction. Discretionary access control uses physical digital resources and are less restrictive than mandatory access control. Users have full control over the resource. The owner of the resource system define the access right of the users, and this you can delegate also. So you can pass on your, like branch manager in a bank. So whenever he or she goes on leave, he or she gives the authority to the next higher official in the bank. So that is discretionary access control. That is. Say, for example, you can create as a role, so allows to create data. Alter as a role allows to alter data. View as a role allows to view data. And print allows to print data, or any combination. Like we talked about, that a cashier, he, she can create voucher, but a cashier, he, she cannot alter voucher. Cashier can view print, but alteration is not allowed. If you look to cashier, then what cashier probably cannot create, a cashier cannot create a master ledger. Okay, that can be done by accounts manager. So accounts manager can create a master ledger, but then accounts manager can create a master ledger. He, she cannot modify a master data. So modification will be with general manager finance. So you scale up based on the requirement. That becomes role-based access control. And those of you who have started articleship, those of you who have learned Tally, I think during this training, number of computer training also, you must have gone through Tally. So there, if you go to user rights, all these restrictions are there in that Tally itself. And multiple accounting systems also. Then we are going to module page 2.32, and then we'll have the case-based MCQ. Just give me a second. So role-based system and an example. Let us consider a small case study for better understanding of role-based accounting, role-based access control. Indradhanu Consulting Private Limited, a company, is dealing in project management and is having different users as given in the table. So let us see. So Mr. Swapnil is director. He has complete access to all reports, masters, and transaction, but limited to viewing purpose. No need to give any alteration or creation access. So disallow creation alteration. He can view. CA Pankaj is Chief Financial Officer. His rights are as director, but in some cases he can create alter. So with few exception, he can create alter. Mayura is head human resource, full access to all HR related masters and transactions. For example, creation, alteration of employee pay structures, all things. What cannot be done, all non-related master transactions. So the individual, he, she cannot alter the non-master related data. Amit Shivas is accounts head, full access to all accounting transaction. He cannot access non-related masters. Sachi Dongre is accountant, can only do voucher entry and cannot access reports. Tanushri Davare, head marketing, customer master data, cannot access non-related master. Sujay, uh, manager taxation, can access taxation related, but cannot access non-related, non-taxation master related data. Aditi is head purchases, access to purchase related data, cannot access other master related data. Gayatri is data entry operator, can only enter data, doesn't have access to any master information. Sanjay is cashier, can only do cash payments, no access to any master or other transaction data. Backdated is also prevented. Surbhi is stores in charge, can have data for stores and doesn't have access to other master related information. So this is how you can plan the restrictions. Coming to the slide again. Okay, so Harshit, I witnessed this in create alter for company while I learned Tally Gateway. Okay, good, Harshit. Let us continue. Now, take your time, read the case, then we'll have the case-based MCQ. I'm giving you time to read right now. Okay, so by the time you read, Darshan has a question. Accountant disallowed to read the report. See, Darshan, uh, first of all, it has every entity may have their own rules of access to be allowed. So the example that you are looking at, the entity, it could be a large entity. So like they don't want accountant to know how the business is going about. It could be source of insider information. So this why restriction has to be placed is a decision that entity does based on their own accounting policy. So it's a valid issue. Means we can discuss this out, but it can be accepted like that. So now I understand you've read the case study. So what will be there in the next slide? One part of this screen, you will have the whole case put again. And second part, you will have question to answer. So even if you need not, we need not go back to this slide back again. So here the whole set is put and now the question will appear on the right side of the screen. Now you have to answer. So now I expect answer MSc or DSc. Okay. Yeah. Now it has come. I just refreshed. Okay. So the correct answer is mandatory access control because it is a critical location for the entity. Next question. So case remains the same. The question will come on the right side. So there, just read the question carefully. You could have more than one correct answer. Okay. So it is not choose anyone. It can be choose all also or any more than one. Okay. So let us see the correct answer. All of the above. Okay. So create, alter, view, or print big accounts manager. Now you are answering question 3. Yeah. So we have answers for question 3 also. Let us see. So inventory management department is 3 staff, inventory manager and stores assistant. Pluto Healthcare Limited goes for an ERP system. Now, why inventory manager is being restricted to only view and print? Because see, it's a healthcare industry. So based on the nature of industry, the raw material, the like bills of material of an item. So that cannot be a decision left to inventory manager. It's a top management decision. Okay. But again, as I told to Darshan's question, based on the way entity needs to function, they can update. So any other answer will also be taken as correct. Good question. Read carefully and then answer. You have to imagine the 4 assistant and visualize which if even if not being given access to system, nothing will go wrong. आपको विजुअलाइज करना है कि इनमें से किसको सिस्टम का एक्सेस नहीं दिया तो भी काम चलता रहेगा ऐसा. So let us see the correct answer. Good. Claps. So we have Ritika and Sunil Kumar got the correct answer. All others must have put also. Let me refresh. So we have sales and 2 people sales. So I think these 2. Now, all of the above was not option. Those who have answered it. I didn't give that. This is easy. So now you are answering 5th. Okay. Great. So again, Darshan, Ritika have got the correct answer. Let me refresh. Most of you have said this one correctly. Yes, good. Okay, great. Darshan, Ritika, Harshit, Prithvi, then Sahu SK. All correct. Read the question carefully. More than one answer may be correct in this. Okay. So then Dikshita is also correct and Varsha is also correct. Yes. For the previous question. Now you are answering question 6. More than one answer is correct. Okay. You have to, from your costings, knowledge of costing, you have to see what are the components of reorder level. Yeah. So let us see the correct answer, then we'll discuss. So all may contribute. So someone did say all. No. Okay. So stores purchase the lead time, stores the inventory handler, sales the frequency, and accounts the cash flow also. So stores purchase and sales will be key contributors. Yeah, many of you said correctly. Good. This is a giveaway. 7th question. So this was a giveaway. Good. So that is the case study based MCQ. Good. So thanks for participating. It was a good participation by all of you. Now coming to ERP case study of a CA firm, let us see. So that is again, we have to take it from the module. I'll bring the module. Just give me a second. We'll take the audit because audit has to be the last part of the discussion. As everybody is familiar with working environment in a chartered accountant firm, let us consider possibility of implementing ERP system in the firm. So a lot of information is given, a process is given that how the organization is working. So I just want you to read through. It is in your module. We'll save our time from this. We'll see how it is being reconfigured. Okay. So the whole case is there. I'm not reading the case for you. I'll bring the, yeah. So this is the present structure. So here is the client and this is the way the work is being going on. So a lot of interflow is there, a lot of document flow is there, information flow is there, multiple people are acting on it. This is the present flow without an ERP. And once you implement an ERP, it works like that. So this is the best part, that creating a center where each people accesses the same data, then it is going to work like that. And if you see, the word that I wish to highlight is this. This is this client. We took that example in a manufacturing entity, the steel manufacturer, where its system had been linked to the vendor system. So again, see, when you look for an ERP system, you allow that client to access your system. That is creating a value added proposition. So I'll request you to read through this. It is in the module itself. Kindly go through it. I'll just share the PPT. Then coming to audit of ERP system. The purpose, the intent of this audit. Now, audit is like a post-transaction exercise. So you are looking at that the ERP system is there and you want to see whether working properly, correctly or not. That is the core purpose for any ERP system. So the purpose of audit remains the same. In an ERP system audit, some principles apply, including checking relevance of the internal control. ERP system need to produce accurate, complete, authorized information in timely manner. Audit includes checking of controls divided as general controls and application controls. So general controls are those which are applicable to the whole organization as such, and application controls are application specific. Say, for example, password to your accounting system becomes an application control. Security card is a general control. CCTV is a general control. Fire extinguisher is a general control. Fire detection devices are general control. Backup is relating to application, that will be part of application like that. So this is how you look to it. Then general controls could be brought in two parts: management environment controls, and the second is application control. The audit process will entail seeking an answer to the following question. When you are going to audit, what questions you are going to ask and what answers you are going to seek. इस ERP का ऑडिट करेंगे तो किन सवालों का जवाब हम ढूंढेंगे? That is audit of an ERP system. Very, very important. Okay. Then again, we'll be linking this discussion to a lot of things that you have studied in other subjects. Does the system process according to the generally accepted accounting principles and generally accepted auditing standard? This one validation has huge implication. Can you recall? I have given hint company law. So try to guess it out. No. Application control is subset of IT control. Darshan, IT control is here, top. Okay. Then, so if you recall, director's responsibility statement to have proper internal controls, to have compliance with regulations, to have compliance with accounting policies, to ensure proper accounting standards are implemented. This is responsibility of whom? Top management. So one of the key things that the audit is going to check, validate whether all aspects are properly documented, corrected in ERP system. So thus the system is in compliance with generally accepted accounting policies and principles. In fact, someone talked about that you got a training on Tally, so or any accounting system for that matter. So accounting systems have what you can say methodology. You can define the method that you want to use for valuation of inventory. So accounting system may have more than one method, but because you means the management, so management needs to ensure that they select the right method of valuation. So that becomes part of validation process. That is director's responsibility statement. So again, king subjects. So we have talked about now law also, accounting standard, auditing standards, strategic management, costing. So I think all your inter subjects we have covered. Does it meet needs for reporting, whether regulatory or organizational? This validation has implications again in companies. Any standard or auditing you can recall? Okay. So lot of things you can bring, lot of things you can build into this. So like, for example, specific reports are needed. We talked about exception report, then whether those reports can be generated through system. If those reports are generated, what action are taken on those reports? So all these validations become part of the ERP system. So you can always answer this question: which standard on auditing you recall? So based on your answer to this, I'll read through. Then I've taken very specific sections, so you can just run through them. Okay. Consideration of laws and regulations in audit of financial statements. So for an auditor, because now see, please understand how things have become so tightly integrated. See, today, every aspect of business is being controlled, managed through technology. So if compliance is an issue, so every law, the compliance has to be part of the system itself. So if your auditor and compliance is part of tightly integrated into the business accounting system, you as auditor must have the capability, necessary skill and competence to validate that. That is very important. So we'll take, yes, Darshan, I'll take SA 260 also. SA 260 is communicating with those charged with governance. SA 700 is not a direct link. SA 700 is audit reporting. So you don't, audit report is auditor's prerogative. So you generate, but SA 260 is a good answer. Then Varsha says, Varsha, it's a very good point. Authorization of transaction, how it is being done. Whether you have preventive detective controls built into the system, whether there is a concept of maker and checker built into the system, whether internal controls. In fact, if you read your other standard, SA 315, SA 330, SA 240, all these standards basically talk about internal control in a company's environment. So this is very, very important. Then again, you're auditing. So audit is like the system is there. Now I am validating. So third is a very important aspect that we have already talked about. Were adequate user requirements developed through meaningful interaction? Now, please understand what is the idea behind this question. See, when as an entity, I go for ERP implementation, so there is something called as a user case is created. User comes with a requirement. See, this is I want from the system. So user requirement is analyzed, management puts its weight on that. Okay, that this user requirement is very important requirement, and this can only be met through implementing an ERP system. So the top management sanctions implementation of ERP. Now, when management has sanctioned the implementation of ERP, so number of people come into picture. So the top management is there, which is sanctioning it. The user is there. Then there is a software also, and there is another person that we call as software implementer. Who is software implementer? He is the expert consultant. We talked about in just the prior discussion about the consultant. That consultant, she may not have the knowledge about the entity. So this consultant who is going to implement ERP for system, who is going to be the user of that, who is going to take the benefit of that ERP? The user who has raised requirement. Now, when implementer comes, when the person, individual, or the group of, or the team of implementers, they come for implementing ERP, they must do a very good interaction with the user. Success of a good ERP implementation has lot of weight for by point number 3, that if implementers interaction is good with the user, what will happen? Implementer will understand the requirement of the user first. Second, implementer will gain knowledge about how the entity is operating. So this interaction works at number of levels, getting implemented to understand the entity and getting the user requirements correct also. So this is very important. Then fourth, does the system protect the confidentiality, integrity of the assets where it is going to work? This is important. This has to be covered by every system, every aspect that is being used into. Then, does it have controls to process only authentic, valid, and accurate transactions? Yes. So proper controls are there or not? And are effective system operations and support functions provided to ensure that the system operates effectively, whether proper controls have been put in system or not? Are all system resources protected from unauthorized access and use? So to have proper controls, it is responsibility of the directors. So if you are using an ERP system, that responsibility of directors has to be incorporated in the ERP system. This validation again has implications for the company. Section 135, subsection 5, clause E talks about what proper internal financial control to ensure safeguarding of assets. And are user privileges based on what is called as role-based? We have already talked about that. Is there an ERP administrator with clearly defined responsibility? What that individual is going to do, what she is going to look for, it has to be properly defined and it has to be properly communicated also, so that all people working there know that this is the system admin and if what problems can be brought to the knowledge of system administrator. Very, very, very important. Is the functionality acceptable? Now there are more than one in point number 10. We'll take each separately. Okay, let me read through. Is the functionality acceptable? Are user requirements met? Are users happy? So let us read the first part. Is functionality acceptable? That means that you have implemented ERP based on the interaction you had with the user. Some functionality has been created in system. So is this functionality acceptable to user? First. Second, are user requirements met? So you have implemented an ERP system, the implementing team, the implementing consultant, the implementing expert, they had interaction with the users. So whether after implementation user requirements have been met, the answer to this question comes from the next one. Are users happy? When user is going to be happy? When the requirements are met and the system provides some additional information, additional capabilities that a user can use. So is functionality acceptable? Whatever has been implemented, is it acceptable to user? First. Second, whatever has been implemented is as per user requirement. Second. And third, whatever has been implemented, is user happy with that? That are 3 points covered in point number 10. The key to point number 10 is the previous point, that while implementing, did the implementation consultant had good interaction with the prospective user of the system? Then, have workarounds or manual steps been required to meet business need? Now, this is basically, we read a word called as business process reengineering. So because you are going to implement a new system, so there may be a way of, you may be doing some job previously in a defined manner, but now because a new system is going to be implemented, so you need to rework the job that you were doing previously in a reasonably defined manner. So whether workarounds have been done, whether some additional steps needed have been created so that the new requirement is met out. So that is basically ensuring that whatever new system is implemented, every aspect of the system has been properly reconfigured in the way you are working. Then, are there adequate audit trails and monitoring of user activity? Now, please understand, wherever you find this word audit trail, please keep a tag of it, because audit trail has become very, very important in company law. That non-editable audit trail, Ministry of Corporate Affairs circular, which has been implemented from 1st April this year. It is part of audit also, it is part of company law. And now, see, whatever are the requirement of Ministry of Corporate Affairs circular on this word, non-editable audit trail. I think you have read that word. Non-editable audit trail means that every transaction that is done in a company's system, there must be log, list of transaction, whatever modifications are done in that transaction. So that edit list has to be there. And this list of basic transaction, list of changes made in the transaction, this list must not be modifiable. No one must be able to change that. So this has become very, very important. And please understand this point number 12 had been since more than 5 years in the module. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs circular is a recent addition. So technology always kept a track that things have to be properly done. So if you read point number 12, 5 years back, point number 12 was basically for auditor and management. Now point number 12 has been captured by authorities also. So this is the relevance of this point. Then next is easy. Can system provide management with suitable performance report? Now, because this ERP is going to be used for decision making, so it must give decision making reports and performance report. Like it must be able to, you have read in costing, standard costing, variance analysis. So this ERP system must be able to produce variance report, the expected performance and the actual performance. So whether the system is providing that, because this was the core purpose of having an ERP system. Very, very important. Are user trained? Do they have complete and current documentation? See, please understand the, if we read through for mental understanding, so I said that the success of proper implementation is the implementer's good discussion with user. So when they talk good, the system is very well implemented. The system gives effective reports. This is implementation. Post-implementation usage means you have a good system, but someone has to use that system. So good usage of the system is dependent on first point of point number 14. Are user trained? आपने नए सिस्टम के ऊपर यूजर को ट्रेनिंग दी है या नहीं दी है? वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट. And so are users trained, and do they have complete and current documentation? Whether the operational documentation for the system is a user guide, you can say user's manual, whether it is available with the user or not. And is there a problem escalation process? Problem escalation process means if user finds a problem, to whom he or she is going to report to. That I talked about in system admin, that system admin's roles has to be defined and his roles have to be communicated. So to whom user is going to report to the problem, that has to be documented and communicated. That is audit of ERP system. We'll just do a fast revision and then there are some questions. I'll read through them. So I'm going to the previous slide. So audit of ERP system, key aspects that the auditor looks for. I'll just read fast. Does the system process according to generally accepted accounting principles, generally accepted auditing standard? Does the system meet the requirement of reporting, whether regulatory or organizational? Whether adequate user requirement developed through meaningful interaction between implementers and users? Does the system protect confidentiality, integrity of assets of the entity? Does it have control to problem authenticate valid, accurate transactions? Are effective system operations support functions provided? Are all system resources protected from unauthorized access or use? Are user privileges based on what is called as role-based? Is there ERP system admin whose roles are clearly defined and clearly communicated? Is the functionality acceptable to the user? Are user requirements met? Are users happy? Have workaround manual steps added to the system? Are adequate audit trails there monitoring user activities? Does system provide proper suitable proper performance data? Are user trained? Do they have complete and current documentation? And is there a problem escalation process? Then. So yeah, so okay, so you have read that through. Good. Now, steps. This includes validation of data and process. So previous was getting answers to these questions. Then data control validations include so physical control on data and access control on data. Physical control is ensuring physical control of data is there. So no one can physically go to database server where your data is kept. Access is this logical access, password based. It has to be based on need to know and need to do basis. This I put there also. The word is here. This is called as principle of least privilege. Kindly do carry this word, principle of least privilege. Then process validation, functional validations, and input validations. Let us take one by one. Now, see, this is a very intensive topic. Okay. Functional validation. I try to bring some practicals to this. Okay. So this includes testing of different functions, features, and system, and testing of the overall process or part of the process and system, and its comparison with actual process. Now, see, please understand that whatever system is being implemented, whatever system is being put in place, whatever ERP system is being put in place, it is going to meet requirement of someone. So in the example we talked about, it is meeting the user requirement. Management may also have some requirements to be met through this ERP system. So whatever users requirements are there, basically functional requirement. Functional means, suppose I am accounts manager. So my ERP system must generate report, process, transaction that meets the requirement of my function. That is accounting function. Say one of the accounting function is say valuation of inventory. If we read through accounting standard 2, valuation of inventory has to be FIFO or NRV, whichever is lower in case of finished goods. Now, so what we are basically looking at that whether my accounting system is generating report to meet my requirement. So what I will do, I'll generate requirement from the accounting system and just read this word. I'll underline it. Compare the same with actual information. So my physical inventory, how it is kept, and just check it. So so my functional need has to be met through this system. This is what I'm going to check through. First. Second, auditor may check this process in system and compare it with actual process. It is quite possible that all aspects present in the actual process may not be integrated in ERP. So if my ERP system is not integrated to a process, okay, allow it to be manual. But if my ERP is integrated to the process, then I must check whether that process, that function is performing properly or not. That is important. Then input validation. This stands for checking of the rules of input for input of data into system. A transaction of cash sale. Very, very, very important. I'll read through, then we'll have questions. Okay. A transaction of cash sales on sales counter must not be recorded in a date other than today. Yes, cash sale has to be today. So it must not be future date or back date. Very important. Then there could be restriction on which fields amount cannot be zero. Again, very important. Stock item field must not be left empty. Very important. Now, so I want you to give an update. We are trying to learn. Okay. So this we actually did in this question. We did try to answer in chapter 1. You have all answered this chapter through a case study. I'm bringing it again in terms of an ERP system. So say, for example, I want you to read point number 3. Let me underline it. Then I'll ask my question. Okay. Stock item field must not be empty. This is one control. I want you to talk about a second control on this field. Imagine your field is stock item. One control, it cannot be empty. What can be second control? Imagine and give answer. Then Varsha has put a point. Yes, we can put test data and check. Good. Imagine what second control you can put. So very good question to learn and answer. So only on the stock item field, what control you can put in place? Let me refresh. Ah, good. Very good. So I think I need to give, empty, not be empty. But I think this e-chocolate has to be going to Ritika. Her answer is not 100% correct, but she got the idea clear. See, this is stock item field. Suppose I am booking a sales. So what is the maximum amount I can book my sales for? The available item in my finished goods. Very good. So that is what she said was understocked or overstocked. Very good. Yes, Prithvi also gets. So Ritika, kindly share it with share it with with Prithvi that it has to be the quantity of items available. Great. You can link it to the material receipt note. Very good. So I think you're all smart. You understand it. So that is how you create validation in systems. See, please understand why this has to be a learning exercise. See, system, uh, a good system has to be very well imagined system. So if you get an issue, the more imagination you can put, like more brainstorming of situations, scenarios which can come, that helps you create a better system. So that is the whole idea behind this discussion. Yeah, Manisha says quantity. Uh, Varsha says maximum quantity. Great. So you're all correct. So process validation. And then let me add at least one from me. Stock item field must be a numeric. You cannot have alphabet. It's a different category of validation, but it is true. This we have talked about case study of a CA firm. So case we've gone through. I'll just run through this fast. This is how it looks. So a lot of communication is there. So client is talking and then, okay. So now we created a centralized system. That is. So this is how it is there. Now it is bringing the risk aspect. Because entity is allowing an external person to log into its system. So sharing, accessibility, and risk. So these issues come up. Okay, accept. This is very, very important. Business process module and their integration with financial and accounting system. So this, yeah, it should specify unit Varsha. Good. Very good. Okay. So we'll just taking a small minutes break and then we'll restart. It's a very intensive discussion we had. Okay. Just, I'm here itself. You can ask any question. So we are starting. Now see, today, what we'll be only doing is talking about this, how ERP systems and various business process modules are being linked together. Okay. We'll just take their definition, process flow, trying to learn the basics. Yeah. This very good, Darshan. The Institute's EICI project is a very good example of how you link. But then, uh, as of now, we don't call it as ERP. I'll tell you, there's some updates to be taken. Okay, it's a good point. It's a good point to start this discussion. Okay. See, our topic heading within this chapter is business process module and their integration with financial and accounting system. Okay. So the EICI project is going very well. A digital learning hub is a revolution. We have talked about that. Then self-service portal for members and students is again great. So to that extent, some integration has been achieved, but an integration to call it an ERP is still pending. So that integration is an ongoing process. Okay. So I would prefer, like what I'll prefer it to say, it's an ERP in process. That is the best way of defining it. Okay. But a good point to start the discussion. Let us start. So what is a business process? A set of activities that are performed in coordinated manner. The purpose is to achieve organizational goal or any specific purpose for which the process has been set. So business process, like we talked about this class, is it a system? Yes. Does it have a defined process? Yes. So teaching, learning is a process. Delivering of the lecture is a process. What is the organizational goal? So what will be the organizational goal of this class? So you have already answered, getting good marks in the subject, clearing examination, or becoming chartered accountant. So that is how so there is a set of activity that are being performed in coordinated manner, and there is a goal that is going to be achieved by performing these activities in a coordinated manner. See, in this activity there, in this definition, few words are critical. The three words that I want to read is activities, coordination, and goal. Very, very. Then the steps includes define the task for which you are doing it. So let us define for our class. Performance measure. So for me, the performance measure is that all of us get at least 80% marks in examination. Must do. Okay. And how you are doing it, the organizational setup against that. Just run through that. Have a feel of it, then I'll ask questions. Okay. Now, so what you are looking at, source document. Then it's a like one-to-one traditional accounting system we talked about at the start of this chapter day before yesterday. So journal, ledger, trial balance, adjustment, adjusted trial balance, closing entries, and financial statement. So, yes, Darshan. Darshan says the performance is chat score. So we have hit 200 today again, Darshan. Great. Now, so this, what you're looking at the screen, we gave a special definition to this way of working. What was that? So the first question you're answering is, what you're looking at the screen, we gave a nomenclature. This is a traditional accounting system. It has something defined way of working. First. Second, you see a location referred to as adjustment. So when you imagine a trial balance, what are at least one adjustment entry that you want to share? So two things I want from you. How you call this flow? We had talked about when we talked about traditional accounting system, a word I gave. How you define that? And second question is the adjustment that you are going to pass for generating adjusted trial balance. One adjustment needed. Okay, so let me just refresh. Good. So the adjustment is closing stocks. Perfect. So closing stock is a adjustment. And what we call this entry? What we call this flow? So the word that I gave you, let me put it here. We called it as one-to-one flow. एक से एक link होके flow ऐसा. That is the word. Yeah. So we have someone saying manual accounting system. That is also correct. Great. And adjustment is bad debt provision. Yes, I'll accept that. Good. And closing stock also good answer. Great. Okay. Then three categories of business have been defined in the module: trading business, manufacturing business, and service business. So in fact, this brings to the point that Varsha had made, that the modules you select for ERP will depend on the business category. The point that I made was that whatever is your category of business, you are going to select based on the criticality. So now let us define. So again, a question that you are going to answer. There are three categories of business you are looking at. I want you to only answer one. Okay, one aspect for this business you consider critical. When I say critical, is that aspect is going to affect the going concern of the business. You can take two. So each of you are answering two aspects for trading business, two aspects for manufacturing business, two aspects for service business. The idea is that the aspect you define has to be so critical that it is going to affect the business continuity or going concern status of the entity if those things are not taken care of. I think I have put my question clearly. Let me do it again. मैं यह चाहता हूं कि आप तीनों ट्रेडिंग, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और सर्विस बिजनेस के लिए दो ऐसे कार्य बताएं जो सही नहीं करने पे ये तीनों बिजनेस बंद हो सकते हैं, इनका गोइंग कंसर्न प्रभावित हो सकता है या बिजनेस कंटिन्यूटी में दिक्कत आ सकती है. टू फॉर ईच: ट्रेडिंग, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड सर्विस बिजनेस. Then I've got some answers from the previous question. Let me read through them. So bad debt provision, rectifying entries are there. Yes. Varsha, closing stock provision. Entry for closing stock, provision and prepaid expenses. Great. Good. So I've got answers I'm reading through. This I'll read with name and all things that you have written. So Manisha, manufacturing entity, raw material and quality of it and cost of finished goods. Good. Ritika says for trading entity, purchase and sale. Very good. Okay, let me have a refresh. Then Kriti, quality of raw material may affect the going concern. Yes. I mean, okay. I want more inputs. Yeah. So then, Darshan, trading, supply relationship. Okay. Manufacturing input and process management, services, customer satisfaction. Very good. Then Adya, trading, stock control and purchase sales. Okay, good. So I think you have good. So see, each business is going to have its key processes which define the criticality of the business. So for trading, say availability of stock, because see, trading you need not manufacture. So for trading, in fact, let us take it's a good example. See, whenever you go to a medical shop and you ask for, suppose you ask for a medicine that is not available, have you observed the medical shop person? What is the first thing he does, he or she does, when the medicine you ask for is not available? दवाई की दुकान पर आप जब दवाई लेने जाते हैं और आपकी मांगी दवाई नहीं मिलती है, तो उस समय जो दुकान पर व्यक्ति होता है, वो आपको कोई दूसरी दवाई सजेस्ट करे उसके पहले क्या करता है? यू नो व्हाट दैट पर्सन डज? बिफोर ही गिव्स यू अल्टरनेट, ही राइट्स इन अ ऑर्डर बुकलेट. He writes it because it's a trading business. Availability of drug is very important. So for a trader, the inventory tracking is important in terms of that no customer must return because an item is not available. That is. Then for a trading business, debtors. So debtors management can be important. And then based on the business, you can add more. Like there are few businesses where you will not have debtors, like food industry, this restaurants, they don't have, generally they don't have debtors like. So for them, debtors will not be important. Then manufacturing business, most of you have said correctly, availability of raw material. We've had good examples. Okay. Then controlling your production process. In fact, for manufacturers, wastages during manufacturing is a big loss. So they put huge effort to reduce wastages. So keeping track of the wastages. For service industry, someone said correctly, customer satisfaction. So timely delivery of service is very important. So that is, let us read. So then Kriti says pricing factor, Dikshita trading goods and services, manufacturing raw material, feedback. Kriti says not solving problem of customer for service industry. Shivam, debtors information for trader, very good. Manisha, trading industry, stock and distribution system. Varsha, for trading debtors control, stock maintenance, then manufacturing raw material stock, purchase, reorder levels, good. Adya, manufacturing, cost of raw material, machine, technical know-how, good. Rajiv Kumar Singh, trading business, product banned, they are, then, so the point Rajiv has made is that if your product is banned, you will not be going concern, good. Then, note down in the book, yes, medical store. Yes, Varsha, they have got a system, but then if the stock is, if they are managing stock in system, so in the system they mark to order. There is a place in system. Yes. After sales service, yeah, I was waiting for this, Shivam. Great. After sales service for business entity, great. And today is only introduction. Huh? Day after tomorrow, we'll have a huge discussion on these aspects. So just keep a tag of this. So what ERP modules? So it's from one of the most used ERP. So financial accounting model will take definitions, controlling, sales and distribution, human resource, production planning, materials management, quality management, project systems, supply chain and customer relationship management. And all of these are linked to financial accounting modules. So these are functional modules within an ERP system. Now, let us just give simple definitions so that we can remember. We'll have a huge discussion on each of the modules in the coming days. So financial accounting. So that keeps, track of all the accounting aspects of the system. Controlling is basically module that keeps track of the variances. What variances like that? So all variances, all reports, all key reports are basically generated in the controlling module. Sales and distribution looks after the order capturing, ensuring that the orders are timely captured and timely supplied. They have a very good interaction with CRM, customer relationship management. Then human resource is about the employees in the entity, human resource module. This human resource module has a very deep integration with production planning module also, because based on the necessity, you need to see the availability of workers at the shop floor. Then for a manufacturing entity, the success is dependent on the production planning part, the timely production of goods, proper reporting of the requirements. The production planning has very deep link to financial accounting. Production planning has deep link to the next module, that is materials management. Production planning has deep link to controlling. Production planning has deep link to supply chain, sales and distribution, plant maintenance. Every aspect they are very deeply linked to. Then materials management. We have tried to create a lot of examples on materials management module, inventory, reorder level, maximum level, minimum level. So materials management is in direct contact with production planning, quality management, financial accounting, controlling. So if these are deeply linked to this, then quality management, someone did talk about it for a manufacturing entity, quality is key. So you see there is a separate module built. So quality management is linked to materials, is for raw material cost quality, linked to production for finished goods quality. It is also linked to CRM because customer feedback is important. So like on online portals, you always, before you buy a product, you look for a feedback. So that is what quality management is about. Then plant maintenance. This ensures continuity of business, even with scheduled load shedding, scheduled plant shutdown. So they plan it so that there is no production loss. You don't lose profit because undesired maintenance is there. So plant maintenance, you have something called as a scheduled maintenance and emergency maintenance. Scheduled maintenance is that has to be done over a period of time. Emergency is a breakdown that occurs. So if good scheduled maintenance, good update of machine is there, the breakdowns are not there. So if breakdowns are not there, the production is not hit. So plant maintenance is directly linked to production planning, means tightly integrated to controlling, to quality management. Project systems, when you are implementing new projects in an entity. Supply chain is the whole supply chain from customer to you, manufacturer, and to the vendor. So this whole chain is supply chain management. We have talked about example, you also answered that correctly. And the last is CRM, customer relationship management. Then over a period of time, so this is our standard ERP package may look like. The arrows that you see are the modules. And now as technology has evolved, as need of business has evolved, so these ERP systems also allow plugin. Plugin means you can connect more modules. Say, just for example, I am sharing with you, just to for understanding purpose. See, if you look to this, say production planning, okay, then if you are developing a new product, so you are developing a new product. Now, when you are developing a new product, so new product is you are developing. So this new product will have its own BOM, bills of material. So it may have design. So this whole new product development can be externally linked to the production planning module. So this can be, say, for example, your CAD CAM, computer aided design, computer aided manufacturing. So all this can be plugged into your new system. So plugin is also being allowed now. That was good. Yes. Okay, so you have read it very good. Let me read. So Varsha says service offer letters, acceptance of offer, yes. Then Shivam, FMCG company like HUL, unimaginable, Shivam. In fact, I'll bring Shivam, you brought a good point. I'm keeping it pending. There's a very good discussion we want to do on this point because this is part of syllabus. What Shivam has said that a large FMCG company, for it, ERP is a boon. I read a report in, I think I read it in Times some 3 days back. The Shivam, the company that you talked about, they have multiplied ERP AI, artificial intelligence. I'll tell you what they are able to do. It's a good discussion. Let us a learning discussion. Day after tomorrow, just ping me, sir, that discussion of AI with the name of the company we have to do. I'll surely do it. You'll love it. Then Darshan says, sir, E, production planning, F, materials management, H, plant maintenance, and J, supply chain. Yeah, supply chain to the extent vendor will be there, but E, F, H, Darshan says are not for service industry. I'll accept that. Great. These are the modules. So we are keeping today's discussion till definition of the module. The deep discussion will take day after tomorrow. Any questions before we close? So we are waiting for questions. So our chat score had double century again. Last refresh. Okay. So no questions. So let us call it a day. Thank you. Good night. We are closing. Bye.